Have you ever?
You crazy mother.
The East Roast Podcast.
Are you listening?
All right, so anyway, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start this thing out. Ready? You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast. This is the East Roast Podcast. I'm Tony. I'm here with my boy Steve Rinaldi, as always.
Just got off stage with one of my favorite, let me tell you something, one of my favorite all-time, I am a diehard fucking Goodfellas, excuse my language, I know my mother's watching.
Yeah.
Diehard Bronx Tale and Goodfellas fan. The fact that I'm sitting with this guy right here, Joey.
Joey Donofrio, man.
Listen.
Joey Donofrio. Listen.
Thank you.
You guys, so anyway, both of you guys are comedians tonight. But, you know, we all know Joey from two of my most favorite movies of all time. But there's 90 fucking films that you've been in, which is amazing. So somebody has been a fan of your films, you know, I'm sure throughout their life. But Goodfellas, I mean, come on, man, you played
Young Tommy, Joe Pesci.
And listen,
Joe Pesci
you were
as a kid.
you were young Joe Pesci, man. And let me tell you something, that was fucking genius casting, if you ask me. That was genius casting. It was perfect. But and then the other one, of course, Bronx Tale, man, one of the best fucking movies ever made. And so you're here in Atlantic City.
Can I just butt in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe was on stage with me tonight. He's diving in the world to stand up.
Yeah.
He did a tremendous job hosting
you.
MCing tonight. He's going to have a great career in stand-up comedy, natural performer. I'm sure you're going to do Atlantic City again at some point, AC Jokes. You did a terrific job tonight. And the fact that he took his time, listen, you might be confused right now of where we're at. AC Jokes crew allowed us to set up the podcast in their
ticket booth.
Yeah. And Joe was like, fuck it. I'll talk to you guys right now. Let's do it.
If anybody needs tickets, let us know.
That's right, yeah. We're working a ticket
There's a
booth.
couple in the drawers
That's right.
over here.
These guys just got done doing their comedy. Now we're selling tickets.
And Steve killed it tonight, man.
God
If you ever see him, his name anywhere, you better go see him.
Thank you,
That's
Joe.
right.
Now, Joe,
Really
if
good.
I could ask you a question as somebody like you're so successful in show business and you have such a long career. Again, 90 plus films in the industry. I'm curious, as someone that's up and coming in this game, where'd your acting training start? Where did it all begin? Was it something that kind of fell in your lap? Where did your training start as an actor?
I started off as a break dancer.
Are you
Believe it or
No,
not.
get out of
yeah.
here.
No.
I was a break dancer, and I did a lot of commercials breaking. And then basically, I had a manager for commercials, and she was like, "Would you be interested in auditioning to be in the movies?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was just
like
I guess I was just a natural growing up. I never really trained, to be honest with you. So when I got started, I basically just was playing myself a lot. And then as I kept doing it, I was watching other actors and like learning on the job. I was on the job training, learning from other actors and watching other actors. And I got to say, I'm lucky and I'm blessed that I got the opportunity to my first couple of films. I worked with some big guys and I learned a lot from them.
Wow. So how far into your career was Bronx Tale and Goodfellas? I don't want to just center on those two.
Yeah.
But you know, Italian Kid from South Philly, those are going to be my two favorites.
Yeah, of course,
Because how long into your career were those two roles?
That was the very beginning because I remember
Is that
Goodfellas
crazy?
was
That's
like
crazy.
the second film I did. The first film I did actually was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was
I
like
love. I don't remember your role.
I
in
was
that. I gotta
the
check it out.
If you watch it, I'm the movie hoodlum. I robbed an old lady's pocketbook, and then the turtle tripped me, and then we ran over a wall, and Casey Jones hit us with a hockey stick.
Actually, I think I do remember that
And
scene.
my line was, "What the hell was that?" And I looked scared. And then after that, Goodfellas came about, and then Jungle Fever, and then Night in the City, and then we did the Bronx Tale after that, and then kept going and going after that.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
How was like De Niro, and like when you were on set with him, was he supportive? Was it a little bit intimidating? Because obviously at that point he's one of the elite actors in the 80s and early 90s. Was he Was he good to you? Did he take you under his wing?
Yeah, well, basically, when I first started acting and I did Goodfellas, I wasn't really into acting. I was more of like a break dancer and a street kid. And basically, when I met Robert De Niro, I didn't realize who I was really meeting. I just felt like I was just going to work. So, like, when I met him, like, Robert De Niro, Joe Donofrio, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, da-da-da. I didn't really look at him. Like, if I knew today who I was working with, I'd probably be like, wow.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Oh, you knew nothing about that
I didn't
world.
really know about, like, Scorsese. I didn't really know, like, who they were. I just looked at it as a job. So, basically, but he was very supportive, and Marty Scorsese was very great. I remember they were like, because I said Hendry, and Marty, I came to the set, and they were like, Joe, can you say Hendry? Because Joe Pesci's accent was so deep, he couldn't say Henry.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. And that was it. And then, in The Bronx Tale, Robert De Niro actually directed me in that.
Yeah, yeah.
And he, taught me a lot. And then we did a movie called Analyze That, where he hangs me off a roof and, like, he plays a gangster and I play a gangster. And I remember doing that scene with him. And before we did the scene, we actually wrestled a little.
Yeah.
Because in the scene, we're supposed to be, like, tough, like, we're like,
Yeah.
And he's very supportive. He's a really great guy. Everybody, Chazz and everybody down the line, all actors are very supportive of each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry.
Well, how old were you? When did you get started? How old were you when you got started? Your first film in the Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, I think I was like 20, but I was doing commercials. I did my first.
Oh, you
commercial.
look young, man.
I did my first commercial
Yeah.
when I was like 15.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. But,
So acting just kind of was something that just kept evolving. It kept coming to you.
No,
and,
basically what happened was I was doing commercials from the breakdancing, and like I said, it was just like a job. Like the manager would call up, "All right, Joe, you got an audition." Okay, I'd get the script, I'd look it over, I'd go in, I'd read. If I got it, I got it. If I didn't, I really didn't take it that seriously. Basically, like I said, I was playing myself. But as I evolved and I got older, I started learning more about acting and learning about technique and learning how to get into characters. And, now I play different characters. Like, I'm not just that tough guy.
Yeah.
I played geeks. I'm getting ready to play a drag queen
Yeah.
in John Gallagher's movie called
Excited to
All
see
Mobbed
that.
Up. That should be great. I played a dentist a couple of months ago in Sarah Q. We just did Birthday Cake with Val Kilmer. That I played a gangster in, but a funny gangster.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing comedy. That's why I always wanted to get into stand-up comedy.
Well, you were Staten Island Mike, right? That was some of your comedy work, right? Was with the show was Are We There Yet? Right? It was a great show. Was that on the WB? I think, right? I think
No, it was on TBS.
TBS. Yeah.
Ice Cube, Terry Crews,
Yeah.
Ali Leroy directed it. I learned so much from that show about comedy.
Yeah.
We had the Tap Dance Kid directed me, the bartender from Love Boat, Ted Lang, directed
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
episodes. The guy who's doing Blackish now was a writer on the show.
Yeah.
And I mean, comedy and drama is two different monsters. Even like stand-up.
Yeah.
It's like when I first started doing stand-up, I thought it was like a script, so I kept going. I didn't realize when the crowd's laughing, you got to stop.
Yeah, let
Your
them bring it.
timing's
Yeah.
gonna come.
You gotta
Yeah.
know when to pop in and pop out and talk to the audience. When you're acting, it's just like you just act.
Do you have any theater experience?
I've done theater.
Oh,
I've done a
okay.
couple of plays.
You've been,
yeah.
Because tonight was the first time I've seen
Yeah.
Joe perform.
Yeah, me too.
Stand up in a live audience. He was very organic
Yeah.
up there. I don't think you sweat anything. As for a new stand up, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
For someone that's I've been doing, and not long. I've been doing it 8 years, but what I'm saying is, you're a natural performer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Diving into this world, what's intimidating you? What is coming easy? I'm curious. For someone,
Well, I mean, like-
turning actor stand up. I'm
Well,
curious.
like I said, the breakdancing, I've done that since I'm a kid, so I always did that in front of crowds.
Right.
So I'm used to crowds. I mean, I was a little nervous before I got on there, but as soon as I'm up there and I got the mic in my hand, it's like a job. I look at it like a job, and I just do it. Like, people always ask me, "Oh, Joe, are you nervous? You just..." It's like a job, so basically I'm not that nervous anymore. I mean, the hardest thing for me basically is audition, and that I hate. I love when I know the people all mobbed up. I'm not auditioning because I worked with the director on a couple of things.
Yeah.
The Birthday Cake, I had to audition for that. It was a self-tape. And it was a 60-year-old guy.
Yeah.
My agent calls me up, "Oh, we gotta audition for you for a 60-year-old guy." I was like, 60-year-old guy? I don't think I look 60. But I nailed the audition, and I got the part, and I beat out a lot of guys.
Wow.
And it was funny because a couple of guys that were on the picture with me, a lot of guys called them up and thought that they got me the job.
Yeah.
But I got the job on my own. I got the job on my own.
That's right.
Joe, let me ask a question. Like, I'm still doing acting training. Am I wasting my money? What's your feeling on acting classes, acting school?
Well,
Because you're saying you didn't have it and you were so successful. Is it different for everybody? Is it much like stand-up where everybody has their own journey, own opinion? I mean,
to me, it depends on the class and the teacher. Like, I did an acting seminar last year. I did like a five-day class I used to do it on Sundays. And basically, I just want to inform the actor of things about the acting business. And basically, it's either you got it or you don't.
Gotcha.
I don't think you could really, get it. It's like I've had students, I knew they had it, and I knew they didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like acting is not acting. You know, it's like just like we're doing now. It's like some people I know, they want to be actors. I tell them, I was like, dude, just be yourself. But they can't do it.
right.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Yeah, you say action, they lose it.
Yeah.
They actually, they overact. They're hey! You know, less is more. You know, and it's all the teacher. Like, if you're working, like, Vinny Pastore does a great class in the city, HP Studios.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a teacher I would want to learn from because, basically, he's been in the game. He could just teach you things. John Gallagher's another one. He's another one who has a good class. I would like to work with people. Like, if you're going to take a class, do it with people that worked.
Well, we're going to talk after this, and I'm going to get referrals, definitely.
Yeah.
for
Like
sure.
I said, Vinny Pastore, I would do that
appreciate
class.
you even
It's in the city.
providing this information for our audience. This is great stuff.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed teaching, and the class was great. It's just that I don't have time to do it that much, but people were telling me for so many years to do it, and I did. And I had it structured. You know, the first class, I gave a big seminar for like an hour, and everybody did a commercial. And then I critiqued the commercial. Then the second one was a monologue, talked about the monologue. Then we did a scene, and then we worked on the scene. And it was great watching them do the scene the first class and then telling them how to do it a little different. And then the last class, they nailed it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
man.
And I felt like, wow, I taught this person something.
The class, I'm curious, like, what your early stages as an early actor, new in the game, like your Goodfellas and Bronx Tale, again, I'm going to dwell on that, but
Yeah.
you were early in your career, so this is a great example. How much of those classic scenes that you did was improvisation as opposed to what was written on the paper?
Almost everything.
Improvisation.
Really?
It was
Look
funny
at
because
that,
someone
those
interviewed
chances.
me about the Bronx Tale like a month ago. And he asked me the same question. I was like, oh, let me go get the script.
Yeah.
Because I still have the script of the Bronx
my
Tale.
God.
And we looked at, because he wanted to know about, I want to shoot somebody.
I love that
we read
scene.
the scene, and it said, it started off the scene when the guy, Nicky Zero, comes over, yeah, these are the guns I got for you. And I'm like, oh, that looks like a nice one. And that was the end of the scene.
Yeah.
No, but that was the end of the
Right.
scene on the script.
And,
And then you
Everything-
turn.
everything
And you know
else
what?
was
Listen,
made
even
up.
your face, the way you said it, when you said, I want to shoot somebody.
No, but everything, when I said, what are you pointing that gun at?
Yeah.
But what we would do is we would do a rehearsal, and then De Niro would like, all right, keep that, get that out, keep that. Like, we had freedom to do what we wanted.
Yeah.
Goodfellas, basically, there was no lines in Goodfellas. They just Marty just writes a scene, and then they put the words in later.
Really?
Yeah, so nothing was really scripted. I mean, he
Yeah.
was just like, all right, you guys meet each other. All right, you're working for him. They made up the lines. Sounds good. I always say that, so that just came natural. Say, oh, you guys are going to be working with him. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were in a way spoiled because as you continue to work, you got all this experience obviously now. When you work with different directors along the way, do they always allow you to take those types of chances? Is that a good director?
Some of them do, some of them
Where
don't.
they want you to stick to the text?
But some of them do. I mean, when I did the Analyze That, we were going up the staircase, I remember, and De Niro says to me, he says, who you working for? And I told Howard going up, rest in peace, Howard Ramis directed that. I was like, I think I should say I'm working for your mother. And that's what he did. He started laughing. It was funny because I was doing plumbing at the time, and a guy that I worked with, I was going over the script with him, and he gave me the line, my friend Greg.
Yeah.
So I told Howard, Howard's like, yeah, that's funny. He goes, okay, do it, but don't tell Bob. So I did it.
Because you wanted that natural reaction.
And the whole scene and Analyze That, 90% of it, none of it was scripted. And then after we did the scene, somebody comes up to me and go, you know Howard Ramis don't let anybody improv.
Wow.
And I was like, I mean, I didn't know, but I guess, he let us do our thing because it was just looked so real when we were doing it.
Sure,
I just put myself in the situation. Like when I'm doing a scene, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm in that space.
Do you feel like you get more and more of those opportunities with directors now that they know that that you do improv sometimes? I mean, at some point that has to become common knowledge. You start to know the actors that you're hiring. You think that's something? Do you get that freedom that some people don't get? Yeah,
I mean, I get some freedom. And it was funny, I did a TV show, too, and a guy told me they're not letting you improv. You got to do it word for word. And I did like an improv, and the director didn't say nothing to me.
And they keep it in,
and they just kept it in and didn't say nothing to me. But basically, I'm the type of guy I stick to the script. I'll talk to the director about it on the side. And if anything, I'll be like, let's do it your way once, do it my way once. Yeah. If he says yes, we do it. If he says no, no problem. It's your movie. Whatever you want. You're paying me to do a job. It's your vision. Whatever you want me to do, I do it.
Well, and some of these movies, I mean, they're hiring an Italian kid or an Italian man, and they're writing things for an Italian guy where you think to yourself, like, that's not the way we would say that. It's like, here's how we would say that.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got writers that aren't like me. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Bensonhurst. Yeah. And when I get a script, like a guy from like Ohio or something wrote a script about gangsters. It's like,
could be a great script, but
it would be a great script.
The dialogue can be.
It don't match with the way I naturally talk.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd have to like change a the or is or and or this.
Yeah.
And but basically I wouldn't just do it. I mean, basically I talk to the director about it. Yeah. I don't want to just. But most of the time a director will come up to me and tell me beforehand. It's like, listen, Joe, don't worry about the lines.
Yeah.
If you want to change something, just do it. And I'm not going to change it to make it bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not me. I'll actually make it smaller sometimes.
Yeah.
I've gotten scripts where like things would be repetitive in the script.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, dude, I don't have to say this. Or like I'm punching somebody, like, oh, I'm gonna punch you, and then you punch the guy. It's like, why do I gotta say I'm gonna punch him? Why don't I just punch him? And the director's like, yeah, you're right. Just because writers love to write.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna write and write and write.
Yeah.
But it's great that I get that freedom. But if I don't, no problem. Whatever you need me to do.
Yeah.
I'm curious about auditioning. Like, my acting coach in Chicago, I was 2 years out there, he told me, as an actor, you got to understand something. You generally don't work. You always audition. Auditioning is what an actor does. Do you agree with that advice? Is that a good way to look at the business? I don't know if that's good advice. Kurt,
well, I mean, you got to be booking auditions if you're auditioning, I mean, when I get an audition, I go in prepared. I go in like I'm going to the set. I have it. The script's not, the script's away. You say action, boom. It's like we're on the set right there. I mean, and if I'm reading with, sometimes you'll get a reader that's not even reading good with you. You gotta. I mean, I've been auditioning so many years. I basically train myself to, if I have a reader that's not even good, I make believe I'm listening to somebody else. You know what I mean? When I go in, you got to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, the next guy is.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And that's who's going to get. Like some actors tell me, "Oh, I don't go in prepared because I don't want them to think. I don't want them to think that's all I got. I want them to think I got more." And I'm like, dude, you better give them everything
you
got right there, because this is your shot.
Yeah.
If you don't give it to them there, the next guy is, and you're done.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, imagine making a decision like that where you say, I'm going to leave a little bit on the table. I'm going to leave it, and you don't get a job. You think to yourself, like, you'd want to kill yourself after that, because you think to yourself, the way you do things, the way you say, give it all now.
Yeah.
Listen, you're in front of somebody who wants to hire somebody, and that guy on the other side of the door is the other guy that wants to get hired. You got to give it to him, man. I agree with you 100%.
Good.
And that's in life, man.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's what's good, too, when you're auditioning. I mean, when you're in school and you're learning from a teacher, like a Vinny Pastore or a guy like me or guys that are working, they'll tell you that stuff.
Yeah.
That, when you're working with guys like that, like, UCLA got a bachelor's degree in drama. It's like, what have you done? Oh, I did like a silent bit on Law and Order. It's like, I mean, sure, he could probably teach you how to act, but he's not going to teach you about the auditioning, how to deal with directors, how to deal with stuff on set, because stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
People are working 13, 14 hours a day sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes people got attitudes.
Yeah.
And, but it's not for you, but you
Yeah.
got to just know what to say, okay, and just keep moving.
That's some great advice for someone like me that's up and coming in show business. But I'm also curious if like the stand-up world. Now, I think I mentioned this to you tonight. Stand-up, sometimes you get a lot of support. Sometimes you don't from career comics. Acting, I'm curious, when you're on set with like a Chazz and a Pesci, these theater guys, like, and then this young guy, this hungry guy that coming prepared, not using them in particular, but in general, the trained actors that put all their money into it, and then somebody walks in and they just got it. Like you said, you either got it or you don't.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
No, sometimes.
Do you create animosity or do you win over to respect? Because I'm seeing with stand-up, some guys don't necessarily agree with how I'm approaching it. Some guys might not necessarily agree. Is acting like that?
I mean, I just try to just stay open to anything, you know. I mean, I take advice from anybody, and I've worked with actors before where I seen them doing things, and I would tell them, when you're doing the scene, don't look down, look up, because the camera's not catching you. You're not going to be able to use the scene. And they'd be like, "Oh, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing."
Really?
Like, sure, no problem. Sure, no problem. Do whatever you got to do. And then when the movie came out, the guy was cut out of like the half the movie, and I was in the whole movie. So I tried to help him out. But basically what I do is I try to give advice. If I know you're not taking it, I let you do your thing, man. I don't hold nothing against you, you know what I mean? And I'm always taking advice. When people tell me something, I'm open. I don't care. Like, I just did birthday cake. I work with some big cats, and, big cats gave me some advice, and I take it, and I love it. And, even if I don't really agree with it, I still take it in, and I think about it. And I say to myself, you know what, I'm going to try it anyway. Because I can't see myself act. They're seeing me.
Yeah. One of the things that, I think is interesting about you is that, you're ready to take on roles, and you have been taking on roles that, don't typecast you. This year you're talking about a couple of roles that people wouldn't really, think that role is for you. And it can be scary to be outside of what people are used to seeing and stuff like that. But all good actors, evolve into that place where they say, you know what, you've seen me as this, and, I want to push my career. I want to go in other directions, So tell us about some of the stuff that you got going on this year.
Well, the All Mobbed Up. Playing the drag queen, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's supposed to start the end of March.
I would never have thought to cast you as a drag queen. I got to be honest.
Were you hesitant at first? Or you were like, I'm doing this.
Well, the guy John Gallagher directed me in like 4 films already, and he produced like 3 that I was in, and he had came to me with this script, I don't know, like 5 years ago. And last movie he did, I played a dentist in, and he always tells me, Joe, I want you to play different things. So he came to me with the script, and he was like, hey, I did this drag queen. When we get the money, I want you to play the drag queen. I was like, okay. So he called me up, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and he's like, dude, we got the paper. Let's doing it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. I actually talked to him a couple of days ago, and I told him, I said, we're shooting the end of March, so I want to start getting together with like drag queens and, going out with them and hanging out the little things, watching videos, hanging out with them. And I want to. I asked him, do you want him to be flamboyant?
Right.
Does he like women? Is he gay? He's like, no. He's married. He just likes dressing up like a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So basically,
So you have to you have to, right, man, and you have to take in, all the thoughts. You say to yourself, like, if it were me, how would I feel? Would I be tortured? Would I be okay with it? Would I be afraid to tell people and stuff? Yeah. And everything that you're saying there, I mean, that's how an actor evolves. And that's why you've been in so many films. And that's why you've done so many roles. And I love that you're doing roles that, people would not expect you to be in, because that's how, that's just how, a good actor puts together something you can be proud of, right? In your career.
Well, I got to build a character like the drag queen. I'm basically going to hang out with the drag queens and see the little things they do, like the walk, the talk, maybe something with they touch their ear, the way they eat, some little things like that, because everybody has different characteristics.
Yeah.
But also I did a pilot called Gravesend where Willie DeMeo, Paul Ben Victor, Nicholas Totoro, and a bunch of other guys where I play a crazy killer.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when you got to put that face in.
Yeah.
Like I'll kill you.
That's right.
Joe, one more quick question before we wrap, because I know we're going to probably wrap it up soon.
Yeah.
I got a question about how when you achieved success in acting, and even now that I know you were a dancer, I talk to Tony a lot about how where I grew up in a small town in South Philly, not a lot of people are doing what I'm doing, artistic. What kind of support were you getting early on? Did people jump on the bandwagon as your career grew? Were they always supportive? I'm curious, like small town Italian kid like myself, can you relate to any of that I'm going through?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I had a lot of support, but you got to be careful with the support because sometimes it could be phony support. You basically got to put your mind into it and go for it, and study, audition, try to make your own movies. I mean, that's the best thing to do. Do shorts, get a camera, get equipment like you got here. Make a short movie, make like a 10-minute short, or like maybe you guys have like an argument. Maybe you're crying 1 minute, you're laughing the next minute, you're killing each other at the end of the 20-minute short. You short at the film festivals, you get your name out there, you network. You know what I mean? Networking is a big, big thing.
Yeah.
But, you got to remember, that just because you're in movies and you're an actor, you're not better than nobody else.
No doubt.
Just because, people like your work, you just got to be like, I'm happy. You got to be grateful about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
What
like,
up, bro?
we actually did a movie.
Yeah.
We actually did a movie in South Philly called Made in Chinatown.
Really? I got to look it up.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Made in
Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Yeah. We filmed it in what was it? What was that pastry shop in South Philly? I filmed the Israel's. Yeah.
Israel's.
I was Donnie the Baker. Israel's Bakery.
Yeah.
Man. Go check them out, man. Great food. Podcast, yeah, baby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, baby. Podcast. Team, baby.
You ever
all
see
the
the
way,
Bronx?
baby.
Yeah.
All the way. Peace and love, my brother.
Atlantic City's getting wild.
Yeah,
What do
man,
you
it
say,
is getting
Tony?
wild
You wanna
over
wrap it
here.
up?
We got all kinds of. Listen,
Joe, thank
everybody
you
sees
so
Joe
much.
over
Thank
here.
you.
You got any shows
Yeah.
to plug, up and coming, stand up or anything?
I got a show April 25th, New York City. Stand Up New York.
Yeah, man.
There's an 8:30 show and there's a 10:30 show.
And maybe I might be doing a guest spot.
You might be doing a guest spot. I get you in. You definitely could get in. All you got to do is bring 10 people when you're in. I'm only kidding. I'm only joking. But you could follow me at Joseph Donofrio, official Joseph Donofrio, and Joseph Donofrio on Facebook, and you can check out all my shows and stuff. Plus, we got a couple of movies coming out. But I'm grateful to be on the show. Thank you for asking me. And like I said, when you see this guy's name, you better get to the show.
That's
when you
right.
see this guy, you better definitely watch it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Well, listen, Joe Donofrio, man, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
A few things didn't happen the way we wanted them to, but you hung in there with us, and now we're in the ticket booth. But what it is, what it is.
Hey, it's good.
But I
whatever it is,
appreciate
man.
you hanging in there.
Looking
man,
forward
so,
to singing it, man.
Yeah. All right, so that's the East Rose podcast. We'll catch you later.
Later.
The East Rose
Thank you, brother.
Podcast.
That was good. That was a good one.
Listening? Crazy mother. Damn.